Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates for only like $5 a month. Also, make sure to check out the new merchandise that we have, the third wave of the third wave merchandise, and I hope you enjoy this video. So Cardano right now is facing some resistance. As you can see, we almost got to the 1.618 of the 1-2 setup here, and well, the third wave could already be in. Yes, we did not really, quite get to the 1.618. However, we do already have 5 waves up and they count like this. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup, which means that the third wave right here could be in. Now, to confirm that it's actually in, we kind of need to, break below the 200-day moving average right here, which I believe is currently at about, let's see, about 78.8 cents. So if we drop below that, and let's say if we drop below this low right here, this is most likely turning into a much bigger ABC structure, which should look something like this. So A, B, C, and that's going to be the fourth wave move down. If that's the case, then I'm going to give you a support zone for it. I'm going to share it on Discord, and yeah, until that happens, I mean, we could obviously go higher, maybe to touch the 1.618 before we actually get a fourth wave move down. All I know is that at some point we will most likely get this fourth wave and then the fifth wave, and that will complete this third wave, which is the third wave of this 1-2 setup. Now, of course, once we actually get the third wave right here, once it actually tops and once we get the fourth wave move down, I will give you a fifth wave target, and that's also going to be the target for the third wave right here. And well, after we do that, expect I'm not gonna say a big correction, but a, significant correction. For example, like it was right here, for example, here we dropped from 66 cents all the way down to about 59 cents. It might not seem like a lot, but you have to keep in mind, in this second wave move down, we only dropped to the 0.382 support level, meaning that in the fourth wave move down, we'll most likely drop to probably the 50% extension. I don't really see it dropping all the way to the 618, but you don't know that, so it could do that as well. Of course, I'm going to give you the support zone for that as well, and well, it could actually put us in between the bull market support band or even, below the bull market support band. But if it respects support levels, then we should get a fifth wave after that as well. And once we get these 5 waves, I will be able to confirm that the low is in. Now, I want to talk about the short term more, because there's something else on the RSI that you need to know. And as you can see, we are no longer overbought on the 4-hour, which is very, very good. And why is it very, very good? Because yes, the price did drop like 4 cents. However, the RSI dropped even more, and this usually is a sign that the market is not done pumping. And of course, I think the market is going to continue pumping until let's say the second week of June, meaning that, we'll most likely not go down too long when we do go down. So don't expect these corrections to take too long. I always see comments asking me, how long these corrections should be. It should be something like this over here. So this took this took 2 weeks. It's probably not going to take 2 weeks this time. The fourth wave move down is probably going to be extremely fast because the market is going up quite fast as well. And well, the RSI, as you can see, it cooled off, meaning that we could go higher right now. And if we do, well, the next target would be the 200% extension of that 1-2 setup. And matter of fact, I'm going to put that on the chart. Now, I don't think we're going to need it. I think the price will most likely react to the 1.618. But in case it doesn't, and in case the third wave right here overextends, it could get to 93.5 cents, which is also the 2.272 extension of this much bigger 1-2 setup here. So yeah, things are looking extremely good for Cardano. We are still above the bull market support band, and we're still above the 200-day moving average. But please remember, if we do get a correction right now, it's gonna be okay as long as we stay above this low right here. Well, actually, we should stay above the first wave high as well, but if we do not, it's gonna turn into a diagonal, which is not gonna be the end of the world, but we don't really want to see that. So ideally, the fourth wave move down stays above the first wave right here. And in order for that to happen, we could get another high, just so the fourth wave move down could have, a little room to extend to the downside. But yeah, don't expect too much from this. Now, we also have to talk about the bull market support band. At some point, we are going to have a cross. And as you know, maybe if you have not watched my videos, you should know that usually when Cardano gets a cross on the bull market support band, that's when it starts pumping like crazy. And this is an example right here. I was making videos back here, and I was telling you that we will most likely pump after the cross, and well, we'd waited for a couple of weeks after that, and then we had this big bounce. And speaking of this big bounce, this only happened when Bitcoin dominance was going down, and right now Bitcoin dominance is finally dropping. Now people are already calling for the altcoin season, and well, I'm not a fan of that idea, at least not yet, because Bitcoin dominance, yes, it did drop like 2%, but come on, it's only like 2%, and when you look at the weekly chart, I mean, it does not really seem like a lot. It's not even as big as what we had in November, so do not get your hopes too high. Now there are some good news here. For example, we got below the moving average on the weekly RSI. That's a good sign, but that's exactly what we did right here as well, and then we finally got back above it, and that put us, well, to new all-time highs on the Bitcoin dominance chart. Not new all-time highs, but new cycle highs. So until we break below the bull market support band, and let's say until we break below this low right here, which is at 56.69%, then am I gonna say that the altcoin season has started? Because this could be just another fake out like we had right here in November. Now if we keep going down, obviously it's gonna be good because Ethereum and Cardano and the other altcoins will go insane, but this is not an altcoin season. I mean, we only dropped like 2%. What I'm expecting from this cycle is for Bitcoin dominance to drop all the way down to the trend line right here, and I'm not sure when it's gonna, get to it, but I think it's gonna get to it at some point in the next couple of, actually let's say in the next 12 months or so, maybe less, maybe more, I don't really have an idea, but I am expecting it to drop to 41%, and well, in order for that to happen, obviously Ethereum needs to start outperforming Bitcoin. But you have to remember, during that time, Bitcoin also has to get to new all-time highs because, well, it's Bitcoin and Bitcoin always goes up. So, well, yeah, even though Ethereum needs to outperform it, Bitcoin needs to continue going up as well. And the next target for the Bitcoin chart, well, actually, before I talk about that, I want to talk about the weekly chart as well. I mean, we talked about this many times in the past, but, Bitcoin reacted exactly to the same RSI levels that it reacted to in the previous couple of years. So right now, we are pretty much in the exact same setup that we were right here and right here, meaning that Bitcoin will most likely hit, well, that has always been my prediction, but meaning that Bitcoin will most likely hit at least $140,000 by the second week of June, and then what happens after that is still unknown. I mean, I'm still a fan of the idea that Bitcoin will most likely drop during the summer, but if you actually look at what happened in this cycle, you could say that maybe we're not gonna get the summer drop, because here, for example, after we found the low, we went up for about 6 months. Here, we pretty much did the exact same thing. If you actually take the other high right there, which is this right here, we went up for pretty much 6 months. So maybe right now we're about to go up for 6 months. I have no idea. But also, please not ignore the fact that in the previous 3 cycles, and that's all of the cycles so far, the Bitcoin chart went down during the summer. And I also saw a question asking me if the altcoins are going to drop in the summer as well. And well, obviously, I mean, look at this right here. When Bitcoin dropped from $64,000 in April all the way down to about $28,000, and this was in June. I mean, if you look at what Cardano was doing during that time, I mean, it does not seem like it, but I mean, as you can see, we actually had a couple of corrections on the way. Here, for example, we dropped from $2.40 all the way down to like 90 cents, and this was obviously extremely scary at that time. But yeah, I mean, don't expect the altcoins to go up while Bitcoin is going down. That's not possible. I mean, in order for the altcoins to go up, Bitcoin kind of has to at least, go up a little bit. It can't really be allowed to just go down or sideways. Well, sideways could work. I mean, we saw that in the previous cycle, I think, over here when Bitcoin was doing this. This is when Cardano was actually going insane, and this is when Bitcoin dominance was actually dropping. So we are either, waiting for something like this to happen, or we are waiting for Bitcoin to do what it did in 2017, and that is this right here. What did it do in 2017? Well, it went up in a straight line, and the Bitcoin dominance chart only went down because the altcoins and Ethereum was going up more than Bitcoin. So yeah, they just need to outperform it, and it doesn't matter how they do it. It just matters that it's most likely gonna happen. And I've been talking about that for so long. I've been talking about Bitcoin dominance for almost a year at this point. So at some point I think it's gonna drop, and well, it has started, but like I said, it's not enough to confirm that the altcoin season has started, and this could just be another fake out. Now I also want to talk about the Bitcoin short-term chart, because the 4 hour is also important right here. I gave you a target for the fifth wave right here of the main third wave. It's between the 1.414 extension and the 200% extension. So I think in the next couple of weeks, Bitcoin will most likely break its previous all-time highs of, let's say, January of 2025, and then we'll get to all-time highs, but like I said, by the end of the second week of June. And well, the top, well, not the top, but the top of the third wave right here should be between $126,000 and $157,000. Obviously, it could go higher, but it should not really go lower than this right here. So my minimum target, bare minimum, is $126,000. Now, going back to the Cardano chart, if you want to know what's happening on the weekly, in case you have not watched, my other videos, we are also above the moving average on the RSI right here. And this is a good thing because, I mean, as you can see from the past, for example, right here, after we got above the moving average, we tested it, and that, after we tested it, after we found support at the moving average, that gave us this pump. So right now, what we're waiting for is this pump to happen again. But in order for this pump to happen again, I'm not saying that we have to retest the moving average. However, Bitcoin dominance still has to drop. So yeah, that's all you need to know about that. Now, my third wave of the third wave target of this 1-to-1-2 setup is still $3.50. And someone asked me what happens when the third wave of the third wave goes way higher than $3.50. I don't think that's going to happen, but what could happen in that case? Well, Cardano just goes higher. So yeah, I mean, I don't think people are going to complain about that. So if it overextends, then it overextends. And yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to complain about that, like I said, but yeah. So this is all you need to know about Cardano in the short term, and my long-term targets remain the exact same. They have been the exact same since last year. Well, actually, not since last year. They have been the exact same for a couple of years at this point, but I was not making videos back then. And well, yeah, it's between $5 and $8, and I think it's very easy to get there once Bitcoin dominance starts dropping. And please not forget, when Bitcoin dominance dropped about 7% over here in November, during that time Cardano went up 300%. So imagine what could happen when Bitcoin dominance drops like 40%. I mean, yeah, the rest will most likely be history. So please remember to not FOMO in, and please remember to, actually try, well, I'm not going to give you financial advice, obviously, but please try buying the altcoins or Bitcoin when they are in the support zone like they were right here, and right here, and even right here, and even right here, and even right here, instead of buying them when they are going up. So that's all you need to know for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates for only like $5 a month. Also, check out the third wave of the third wave merchandise. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.